Eamon Khan here for Seconds Out. Pleasure to be in the company of IVB CEO Ed Pereira, making some waves within the boxing world with the latest announcement and got the boxing world abuzz with the conversations as to what might be for 2026 and IVB. No better person to tell us than Ed. Ed, how you doing, first of all?
Yeah, really good. Yesterday we made that big press announcement. Well, two things. First of all, about the YouTube deal and also about the big event where we're going to look to break the world record in San Francisco. So it's a busy, busy day. And at least I got some sleep tonight.
Indeed. For those who haven't seen, what are the plans, of course, for the 2026? What do you want to achieve by the end of the year?
So, first of all, it's the big one. We want to break the world record for the largest ever boxing event of all time. I think it's probably the best way to do it. It's currently set at 135,132 people. It was set in the States, here in the United States, in Juno Park in Milwaukee in 1941. So it's a big, big target to do. So that's the first thing. We're looking to do that. But also, we're really happy to be working alongside YouTube to bring what we say boxing back to the people, to give it a more live boxing, both free and on pay-per-view, YouTube pay-per-view, to bring some big fights to the YouTube platform.
So who fits the bill to bring the people in? How does that all materialize to break that world record? What moving parts do you need to land? What negotiations do you need to make to break that record?
Well, the big one, the first big one that we needed to do was with the office of the mayor of San Francisco, Mayor Laurie. The mayor has been tremendously helpful, a great advocate for the city of San Francisco, and a fantastic support in everything that we've wanted to do in the planning. So the first thing was kind of getting the permitting right. It's something that we haven't spoken a lot over the last 24 hours, but listen, it wasn't just done yesterday. We've been working on this for over 6 months, back and forth, working with the permitting team. So the first part was getting that permit agreed and making sure that the whole of the city was ready for it. Second, the logistics, putting together, building an arena, building a ring, and this is going to be a festival. It's not just a boxing event, but it's going to be a festival size location. So we're talking about fan villages, we're talking about extra stages, we're talking about music stages, we're talking about food zones, as well. In the middle, right in front of City Hall, that ring. So the logistics about getting all of that put together took us about 5 months to do Times Square. So we think it's going to take us a little bit longer for this one because it's a bigger, much, much bigger show. So that's the first part. And then obviously the one that everybody wants to ask me about, the one that everyone's talking about, is what the card's going to look like. So there's two things that we're working on. So first of all, it's to fill that entertainment slot. So it's more than just boxing. It's becoming a huge citywide celebration of boxing. But we're going to have music there as well. So it's about putting together the entertainment element of that, but also very much to bring a card to the table that befits the importance of the situation. You know, we're going to have the Guinness Book of Records there. So when we break the record, and I use the word when, but we will break the record, whoever's on that card will be a record holder. So we need somebody that can carry that on their shoulders.
Well, the two names that are intrinsically linked with this occasion is Oleksandr Usyk and Deontay Wilder. Can you confirm, can you put any meat on the bone as to whether they're in place or in play potentially to be headlining that card?
Look, it's the one question everybody's been asking me after they ask me who the card's going to be. Is it Usyk? Is it? Look, for me, my number one priority up until yesterday was to work alongside the city of San Francisco to make sure that we can announce on the date they wanted us to announce, and get the permits and everything in place to do that. And obviously to finalize and get the YouTube deal done. We haven't confirmed anything. I think that's fair to say. We haven't confirmed anything yet. But I will say this, those boxers, particularly Usyk, is a generational great. Anyone would want him on a card. So whoever gets Usyk on whichever card is a lucky person.
Can we rewind back to obviously the work you did with the Times Square event, and in terms of what you learned is maybe errors that were made where things could have got better? What did go really well that you're taking into this new year?
Well, listen, I think we're really self-critical, and I think there was a couple of things that didn't go perfectly. The sporting side, we can't control that. You know, I don't think any of the bouts, apart from NYPD versus the fire department, so the police department, fire department, they went out swinging, but nobody else did. But we can't control that. The bits that we can control, and I think it felt very much like a VIP party inside of in Times Square rather than a public event. That's not going to happen here in San Francisco. You come to see it, or you don't have to. You can either buy a ticket or come and watch it free. You will see the ring. That's the idea, you know, and there will be no fences up to block you from seeing that. And I think that's the major lesson that we learn. And then when you have the camera will pan up, you'll see hundreds of thousands of people out there, or you know, enough to break the world record. So I think that's the main lesson. We achieved the impossible in Times Square when it came to permitting and building. You know, we needed to build the ring. We needed to build the arena in record time, you know, building it in under 3 days, breaking it down in under a few hours so that essentially Times Square could be returned back to normal. And obviously then stopping, and we closed with the support of the police department, we closed quite a lot of roads down to make it safe for everybody and to let obviously the boxers come from the hotel on that fantastic drive in. So all those lessons of working with the fire department, working the police, working with all of the relevant agencies out here in the States to make sure that everything was safe and secure and the perfect platform. We've learned, and we're going to bring that to San Francisco. But most importantly, the biggest lesson, 100%, is make sure that there are no obstructions or as minimal obstructions that we can. No fences, no big fences going up.
So to clarify, for those on the ground who'll be attending the event, you'll be offering free tickets and then paid tickets as well too.
There will be paid tickets. There will be free tickets. Absolutely. I think, look, I can't go and say I'm bringing boxing back to the people and then charge money for a lot of money to stop people coming in. No, the idea is that all of Fight Week events plus the event will be free for the people of San Francisco. They will be able to come. Now, obviously, you know, there will be nicer seated tickets that you can buy and clearer, you know, better view areas where you pay to stand and watch. But in essence, the majority, because it is a huge amount, will be free.
And putting on an event like this can't be cheap. I know obviously you worked with Seller and Turkey Al-Sheikh. Is that a consistent, continuing relationship that you're bringing into this to fund this? Is it working with a number of people to get this off the ground? How is it all coming together?
Well, look, I had a good run working with Seller and His Excellency. I thoroughly enjoyed working with them, and you know, particularly Times Square, we achieved the impossible together with that one. But this one, it's just us. We're not working with Seller or His Excellency on this one. We are working with quite a few partners to put this together. City of San Francisco being one of them. YouTube another. That's a key, opening the door. Working alongside them, and also our sponsors and our partners. We're a sports marketing company. We're not just an event creator, and we have a lot of partners that have seen us operate within the football space, have seen us operate within the rugby space, or if you're in the States, within the soccer space and the rugby space. And these guys, look, they know what we can deliver. They know our ability to deliver the big events and to create amazing activations for their brands. And we have a fan engagement village, and the fan engagement village will feature all of these brands. So with our partner support as well, that's where the money's from. So multiple pots, and ultimately it makes it a proper business, right? I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a business owner. You don't rely on one revenue stream to make a successful business. You rely on multiple revenue streams, and you build a strong business that's built on rock, that's going to survive. And that's the vision. We don't want to come in and say, look, we're going to throw a load of money at this and next week we're not here. This is a business built for the future with lots of partners and lots of revenue streams.
I know that there's an existing battle, if you will, with between YouTube and Netflix to be the leading platform to put on live events, whether it be in sports, entertainment, or otherwise, and that's now bleeding into boxing. What's YouTube's commitment in terms of putting boxing on the platform, and why have they gone with yourself when there are other promoters who might have wanted that opportunity as well?
Look, that's a really good question, and probably the first, after the card question, probably the second question that everybody asks me. YouTube's commitment to being part of and streaming cultural moments is well known. Their ability to take, I think, the biggest shock for everyone was their ability to take the Oscars. I think it's from 2020 something. They're going to be streaming the Oscars exclusively. They are all about cultural moments. It's a business built on being in that cultural moment. When they heard about what we were looking to do, it was bigger than just a great card. It is a cultural moment. So in that sense, we both aligned. I think YouTube and IVB aligned in the fact that this is a citywide, this is a worldwide moment. It hasn't been broken. The record hasn't been broken in 85 years. In fact, no one's really come close. So they understood that it was a cultural moment, and it's not just one event we're doing with YouTube. We're doing multiple events with YouTube, all of which will be cultural moments in different ways and for different reasons. So that's what drew us together. And what really excited me about YouTube was that they got us and we got them. And the team at YouTube have been really supportive. And also, I think the second side was that they understood that I deeply respect boxing and its traditions. I hear so many people trying to get into boxing and say, I'm going to change the ring. I'm going to change the round times. I'm going to change this. I'm going to change that. I'm the savior of boxing. That's not me. Listen, I'm a purist. Keep the boxing pure. Keep the traditions. Don't muck around with the belts. Don't muck around with the rules. Don't muck around with ring sizes. Don't muck around with ring shapes. Keep it pure. But what I can do is do on a bloody good show. That's where I come from. And I think around that, give boxing the ability to become a moment where the casual fan can be a part of. The casual fan has been blocked out of boxing for so long, for lots of reasons, right? The pay-per-view, I'm here again in the States, and some pay-per-views are going up to $80, $90, $100. I mean, that's crazy. Mm-hmm. How can the average person pay that money, week in, week out? And you can see in the UK, the pay-per-view going up and up and up as well. And I think ultimately, and the ticket prices for the stadiums. And I think what YouTube brought to the table, sorry to come back to the YouTube question, was what YouTube brought to the table was the ability to say, look, YouTube has 2.7 billion monthly users. It dwarfs anybody else, right? It dwarfs Netflix. If we bring even a percentage of those a very, very small percentage of those 2.7 billion users will make these audiences bigger than any other boxing audience on earth streaming. So their scale and their ability to reach billions of people, that's the other side. And I think we both agreed it was a marriage made in heaven.
I've seen online and in interviews you're very keen to not call yourself a promoter, but what you will have done with your announcements and what you're looking to do within the scene is certainly raise the eyebrows of current promoters in the game who are very territorial, who are very much wanting to keep their piece of the land that they have right now. Have you had the conversations with current promoters? Are you open to working with all promoters? Have they been receptive to your plans?
One of the advantages of having worked within the industry for the last couple of years, particularly in all of the great big events that His Excellency created, was the integration of working with all of these promoters, right? So I think it's, first of all, they know that I've publicly and privately said I'm not a promoter. These guys have been promoters for a very, very long time and professionals at it. That's not me. I want to work. We want to be a safe haven for any promoter, any open or free agent boxer, any content creator that wants to come and work with us. We're, a safe house for them. We will look to make any deal that makes sense. we want to put on the biggest fights. To put on the biggest fights, we've got to work with everybody, and make sure that everybody makes money fairly. That's the key as well. So we'll pay good money for good fights, and I think ultimately they know that. We've spoken to a lot of them, and for those of the guys I haven't spoken to, please reach out. I want to work with you. This isn't about me. This is about boxing, and I think that's the most important thing.
So just to get to know you a little bit better, what ignited first your love for boxing? What made you fall in love with the sport and want to work within it?
I remember those nights. I think it was ITV Sports, or ITV Boxing. Eubank Ben, the dads, right? I was very young. I watched those fights. Man, looking at those two warriors fight in the ring, it was a battle every time they got in the ring, and it was talent. It was an incredible mixture of talent, of heart, of just not giving in. These guys kept on going, and I think that's what really kind of hooked me. That's where I really got the bug bit me, right? Because it was like, man, these two guys are coming out and they are not stopping and they won't give in. And it was incredible to see. And in a way, it's kind of the story of life. And that you get knocked down, you have to get back up again. You have to work hard. You saw all of that played out in 12 rounds, and that's what's incredible. That's where, and I would watch it on my own. My dad was working. He wasn't with me at the time. So it was just me, and just, it was incredible. And then obviously living through the Calzaghe era. Everybody knows. So I live in Wales. I'm from Wales, and for me, watching Calzaghe and his relationship with his dad. I have a very close relationship with my dad. He still works with me. He's part of the business, and I saw Calzaghe and his dad climb to the highest tops of a sport and become, incredible champions and incredible role models. And I saw that parallel. And if I can only do with my dad 1% of what Calzaghe did, I'll be really, really proud. So that's really when kind of that journey started.
If you cast your mind back to, I think it might be in 3-4 months ago now, maybe a little bit further, where the Boxing News most influential list came out, and there was a bit of a stir, a bit of a controversy in that I think Anthony Joshua was raised right at the bottom of the list, and others weren't. And I think you were high. I'm not saying that you should have been or switched any places, but just your kind of reaction to being placed well within the list, having not yet put anything of your own within this sphere, and what you thought of that.
Look, it was an honor. I think, the guys at Boxing News, I think, understood the scale of what we'd achieved. Everyone likes to talk about Times Square. It was, and everything that went wrong with it, and a lot did go wrong with it. I'm going to stand there and here and say it was brilliant. It wasn't. But just in the fact that it happened was a miracle, and I think everybody that was involved deep in the back rooms of boxing understood the 22-hour days, what it took to put boxing outside of an arena. It wasn't just the issue of going and paying for an arena and that's it. It was politically really difficult to get the mayor of New York involved, and he did in the end, and it was great. But it took a lot more work. So I think that's one of the reasons. But also, I think it's because I have been, since that time and before that time, talking about this year as the year where we would launch with a vision, and the vision was to bring boxing back to the people. Times Square was just a test run. We're looking to go bigger and bolder. So someone else asked me, do you think it was because of Times Square, or do you think it was because of our potential? I think it was a mix of both. And we'll see. I mean, it was a huge honor, and I think I was as surprised as the rest of the world when we saw AJ where he was. He shouldn't have been there. I agree with everybody.
Eddie, you can't say Usyk versus Wilder as your response to this question, but if you could make one fight this year on one of your cards, what fight would that be?
It's a really good question, and it's not a fight that I won't talk about one that I'm doing, but it's a really good question. Listen, I'm a fan of showmen, right? I love the showman, and for me, there is no bigger showman in boxing than Tyson Fury than the Gypsy King. So my answer to you is any fight that Tyson would be involved in, that would be my ideal fight.
And is that the fight you want to see? Like, pending, of course, Anthony Joshua wants to return to the ring. Usyk has said that, it seems, in a conversation, that he's willing to return and fight in the memory of his friends. But that fight between Fury and AJ, one you want to see this year, maybe be part of?
100%. I'm with, I always say this, I'm a fan first. I'm coming in and everything I do, I look through it through fans' eyes. Man, that fight should have happened a long time ago. It's a little bit past the prime, but it's got to happen. It's got to happen.
Ed, I'll leave the final word with yourself. What do you want to sign off to the listeners as you look for a big year for IVB?
Listen, I think for the listeners, big thing. I'm one of you guys. I'm one of the fans. I'm just very lucky to have got to this position. And I want them to know that whatever I do over the next year, I'm going to fail. I'm going to do some good stuff. I'm going to do some stuff that you guys will think, oh, man, why did he do that? But I'm going to give it a good show and give you guys the biggest shows I can put together and make it accessible, make it cheap for you guys to get to turn up and all watch on pay-per-view or online and hopefully we put on some shows you'll be happy to attend and be a part of.
Looking forward to it, Ed. Thanks for speaking to Seconds Out. We'll be keeping a keen eye on IVB this year.
Brilliant. Cheers, man.